How long do Costco's prepared meals last? Costco prepared meals are scrummy, delicious time savers that make dinner so much easier. But here's the thing, if you're a little bit like me, you can get too excited at Costco and end up with a stack of fresh food, and suddenly you're stuffing your face trying to eat everything in time. So let's try and be a bit smart and work out how long you have for each prepared meal. Ready? First up, let me drop the most important rule, the 2-hour rule. Whatever you buy from Costco, you've got 2 hours to get it off of the shelf and in your fridge. So if you need to run some errands, make sure your Costco run is the last stop on your itinerary and get that fresh food home sharpish. Now let's start with everyone's favorite, that famous Costco rotisserie chicken. These beautiful birds will last you 3 days in the fridge, but only if you store them right. And no, sadly, leaving them in a handy plastic bag isn't storing it right. Here's what you need to do. Take the chicken off of the bones while it's still warm, pop it in an airtight container and keep it ideally towards the bottom of the fridge. If you're not planning on eating it within these 3 days, shred that meat, get it in the freezer. It'll stay good for 4 whole months. What a godsend. Moving on to those prepared salads, I'm sorry to say these ready-to-eat salads aren't going to last you a whole week. Protein salads, your chicken, tuna and egg, these already have mayo or dressing mixed in and they're going to last for about 3 days. Your plain green salads without any dressing last also 3 days. The moment you add dressing to a plain green salad, that clock drops to 1 day. So let's take a trip over to the deli section. The ready-to-eat lasagnas, enchiladas and casseroles, these will last 3 days in your fridge. If you have overstocked, you can freeze them right away when you get home. But once they're thawed, you've got 3 days to eat them. And remember, you can't refreeze them after thawing them. Speaking of parties, mac and cheese, a little party in your mouth, that will keep for 3 days in your fridge. If you want it to last longer, you can portion it out and freeze it in an airtight container. Then it's good in the freezer for 2 whole months. Now let's stick with pasta. Other dishes like ravioli, alfredo, 5 cheese tortellini, making my mouth water. Eat them quick. You got 3 days in the fridge maximum. Again, freezing is your friend if you can't eat all the food. Speaking of soup, now these bad boys come in huge portions, so you're likely to time out on these. You've got 3 days in the fridge, but here's a great tip. Divide the soup into smaller portions straight away. It's going to reheat better, and if you freeze those portions immediately, they're going to be good for 2 whole months in the freezer. And finally, let's talk sushi. This one's probably the most crucial. You've got to eat it the same day. If you absolutely have to, it can go 1 day in the fridge, but that's pushing it and it's not going to taste anywhere near as nice. And never ever try to freeze sushi. And the regular housekeeping applies. Keep your fridge at 40 degrees or below. Always use airtight containers and never store anything in the fridge door. When you're reheating anything, make sure everything hits at least 165 degrees throughout. Yeah, that was a whopper. So if you found any of this valuable, share it with your fellow Costco obsessed friends. And as always, please go and wash your hands.